All right, World Series participants, let's get some Tuesday games. Let's talk through some gaps and look through some things that we got going on. First and foremost, got another free website resource that you can use really early before market. This will give you some gaps that you can kind of verify if they're opening or opening, gapping at good locations. Some are, some aren't. Simple as that. First one on the list that everyone's going to be talking about today, NEO. Let's just go look at it and talk about it. So NIO, and let's just keep an eye on NEO. So it is gapping up 30%. That's a fact. Everyone and their mom is going to be trading NEO today. So I talked about this not too long ago. There's going to be a little bit of a challenge to to trade something that everyone is talking about. So it won't be as easy as you would imagine, I don't think. This is a very good gap, however, on NEO, and I'm sure at some point later in the day you can probably get a chance to play it, but it's up 30%. That is huge. So my thought, we probably trade up into the 530 area, and then you get some selling most likely, and then we trade down to 480 and we get some buying. So it's going to be a little choppy on the day, but you're going to definitely have some fun ranges because this is a good gap, no question. Here's the weekly chart, right? The weekly chart looks strong. So overall, you have some resistance. Like I said, back up here about 536. So this is probably where I'm going to look to short, simply because I don't think that it's going to have the range to finish up 30% on the day. And my stop loss will be something like this. So this is how I'm looking at playing NEO, specifically very similar to Sprouts Farmers Market the other day, except more like just at a random resistance of sorts. Now, this is still an hour before market open. So let's just see how it looks at market open. If it's trading higher into like 550 or something, then I'll short at like 570 with a stop at like $6. So we will see, but really, really good gap on NEO. All right, MNK Publishing, I think, is up 43%. So there is some buying out there in the market today, as I predicted yesterday in the afternoon room. MNK, pharmaceutical company, gapping up on earnings, 551. This could be a relatively interesting gap, ironically enough. It actually probably is worth watching and keeping an eye on because of all the bearishness and all the bearish volume yesterday. Clearing that candle, you could see some bears trapped. Won't be my favorite gap. Most likely it'll trade back down into 506 before market open because it was already up at 7. So you got to keep that in mind. Yesterday it went from 257 to 7, which is a 200% return almost. So you're talking a huge, huge, huge move. So I most likely won't be playing this one. All right, Lumber Liquidators. Lumber Liquidators is up 17%. You do have a strong gap up. It is gapping above 10. So this could be a pretty strong gap. You got a massive free fall yesterday, and it's going to be worth watching. I will keep an eye on it. I'm just interested to see how far it's actually going to play out. Looking at the pre-market, it seems like it's going to flash down into like 950 and then maybe bounce, kind of like best case scenario. That's what I'll keep an eye out for. Again, all this is happening well before market open, right? We're a full hour before market open, but just looking at some of these gaps, it's worth putting on your list and just kind of seeing what's going to happen. JMEI. Let's see what we have on JMEI. Jumanji. This one's out 1940. Huge gap. Wow. That is insane sauce. Now, you did have a reverse split not too long ago to keep this thing on the New York Stock Exchange because it was just getting absolutely shredded. So this actually could be a pretty good gap, and it looks like it will be. I just don't know how high it's going to go. So some of these gaps are just really, really, really high. The volume on this one also is really not the greatest, right? You can see 77,000 shares on average. So I'm not going to personally play that one. I'm just going to pass. It's a good gap, but volume's not that great. mRNA had another nice move today. It was gapping up yesterday. This one's gapping up on earnings. I do like this gap a lot. This is a very good gap because you have tons and tons and tons of bearish candles. We're gapping up only 14%. So we could go into the 23, 24 area on this one. So mRNA, I would watch for a long, pre-market. There it is. It already hit 23. Well, pre-market, you can see a very clear support resistance. So let it flash in below there. Look to pick some up at 20.50, maybe with a stop at 19.50. So a very, very, very wide stop, and then kind of add to your position over time. Otherwise, just look to play the break out of this high wave candle here on mRNA. But overall, that is a good gap for sure. Let's look at 2 or 3 more. Let's see, looking at pre-market volume, just see if anything's going to be interesting. Virgin Galactic up again, SPCE, Shock City. So this one had a lot of buying yesterday. And yep, we're up another 8%. So what I'm looking for today, I am looking for anything that's gapping above the high of yesterday. That's going to be a really, really key move. Tons of people are buying this one, and a lot of people have been asking me my thoughts on it. I'm not sure what's going to happen on earnings, but this is what I can say. My overall viewpoint on Virgin Galactic is this thing could hit $100 this year. I know that sounds pretty asinine at this point, but looking at the weekly chart, we could get a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a rest, but the chances of this thing hitting 1,000 in its lifetime as opposed to 0, I think the chances are much greater that we go a lot higher on Virgin Galactic than we were trading at this precise moment in time. That's just kind of my thoughts and perspective on it. This particular gap, again, above the high, I do like that. I am a fan. Sure, we could easily get another run up higher. Most likely, we're going to get a candle that looks like this on February 21st. We're going to get some buying. Comes up in here. All the noobs are going to buy the breakout around 40. It's going to flush lower into 34. And it's going to close a little bit of a high wave bearish candle. That's just my thought on Virgin Galactic, but it's going to be worth watching. It's going to be a fun mover, and I do like that one for your long-term portfolios as well. And let's look at 2 or 3 gap downs. Palo Alto, PANW. PANW gapping down on earnings to 203. This is a huge gap, and that's going to fade. So I'm not looking at shorting that one, I don't think. We will see. At least I'm not going to short it today. I'll put it to you that way. If it does really, really start moving lower, I'm probably going to look to buy it around 194. This is a massive, massive gap. I will not be looking at playing this one bearish. I'll only look at playing this one bullish today. And if I am wrong on that and it just keeps going lower, that's fine. But the lower it goes, the more likely I am to buy that position at some point. Yes, there's a lot of people trapped, but we're just gapping down huge, really, really massive, too far almost, and into some areas of support. And you can see we fade the gap a lot on Palo Alto eventually. So it happened back here. You know, we faded here. We gapped down and faded here. We gapped up and faded here. So PNW loves to fill those gaps. That's going to be a big one to keep your eyes on. And then Shake Shack, kind of the same thing for the most part. Shake Shack is gapping down a lot. This is kind of my long-term perspective, and Shake Shack is getting a little shredded right now. So my viewpoint, this is going to hit 62 today, almost without question. And then from there, I really don't know. I don't know how bearish Shake Shack is going to get today. Could it go all the way to 60? It could, but we're probably going to end with a candle that looks something like this today. You will have some buyers come in around 62. We might run it up all the way to 66, and then it closes at 63. So you'll probably have a bearish candle with a little bit of an upper shadow. And then again, these purple lines are just for long-term ads if you're looking at doing that. I don't have any position on Shake Shack, but it will be at least relatively interesting to watch and keep an eye on. All right, team, that about sum it up for me. I mean, I could do this all morning. In fact, I usually do. We will have the morning day trading room starting in about 24 minutes for real life trading. I know for those of you who are watching this and those of you who are part of the RLT World Series, if you've been liking my analysis, if you like my assistance, if you like my chart thought processes, thesis, and setups, analysis, I do run a trading room like pretty much everyone else in the world, but it's a really good one. So if you ever want to be a part of it, let me know. Thank you so much for being a part of this team and community. I've been enjoying it immensely. You guys rock. Until next time, love life, and trade it. Bye.